It's like, listen, at the end of the day, you need to take swings. You need to take risk. And you can't be so fearful of what's potentially going to happen, whether it's going to a new brokerage, trying a new CRM, trying a new source, growing your team, setting big, audacious goals. There's nothing wrong with that. And know that when you're that anomaly, you're that person that is willing to take the step outside of it. It's not going to come with bells and whistles and a celebration. The reality is most people are going to tell you you're crazy, and they're going to tell you that it's a bad idea. And it might be because of like finances or whatever it may be. But the reality is you only get one life. You only get one chance to go out and make your mark. My name is John Bowler, and this is the None Size Fits All podcast, where every week I'll be sharing my candid thoughts on what's happening in the real estate industry. Good afternoon. Welcome to the None Size Fits All podcast. My name is John Bowler, co-founder of Grid Consulting. Today, we're going to be talking about innovation. We're going to be talking about innovation versus being comfortable versus being familiar, and ultimately kind of the fear of what if. So recently, I was on Facebook, Instagram, and all those good sites and apps, and I saw a handful of videos that prompted me to think about the journey. The journey of your life, your career. When is it time to take a risk? And a lot of this kind of stems from my job a few months back, but also talking to just like people in general that are in this situation where they're thinking about, am I happy? What is my purpose? What is my pursuit? And before, I resigned, I had kind of asked myself, like, what is my purpose? So thinking about that, it really kind of like took me to this place of some Jeff Bezos quotes. And I'm going to read three of them really quick. So Bezos says, if you cannot afford to be misunderstood, then for goodness sake, don't do anything new or innovative. So I've always loved that quote because it's like, look, like you're always going to have criticism and people are going to tell you it's a bad idea. But like, who's those people to say that? They're not in your situation. And at the end of the day, there's more people that are comfortable or are content that continue to live that life. And they wonder and they think back and say, like, did I make the right choice? Bezos also has a quote. I'm now just going completely off script. He had another quote where he talks about the way that he makes decisions is based on if he's going to potentially regret it 5 years later. So he looks back and when he's like, should I do this or should I not? He's looking at it and saying, in the future, am I going to potentially regret it? And then if he's going to potentially regret it, then he does it every single time because he knows that he's never going to be able to get that chance back. Bezos also says, so when you're doing something in a new way, and if customers embrace the new way, what's going to happen is incumbents who are practicing the older way are not going to like you. You see that in technology all the time. You see the disruptor, the person that's coming in and is trying something new. And, not everyone's going to like it because it's different or because it's potentially challenging them. When you're trying something new, skeptics will be in two categories. So well-meaning critics are concerned the new innovation won't work, but hope it does. And self-interested critics resist change to maintain their own dominance. So think about these quotes. Like think about Bezos and the way that he approaches Amazon with the day one philosophy. It's like, listen, at the end of the day, you need to take swings. You need to take risk. And you can't be so fearful of what's potentially going to happen, whether it's going to a new brokerage, trying a new CRM, trying a new source, growing your team, setting big, audacious goals. There's nothing wrong with that. And know that when you're that anomaly, you're that person that is willing to take the step outside of it. It's not going to come with bells and whistles and a celebration. The reality is most people are going to tell you you're crazy and they're going to tell you that it's a bad idea. And it might be because of like finances or whatever it may be. But the reality is you only get one life. You only get one chance to go out and make your mark. And yeah, like I could stay in a job and I could just continue to do that. Or I could actually say, you know what, I'm going to do something that everyone talks about doing but rarely actually does it, which is go out and try to start something yourself. I think about innovation. I think about this concept of comfortability. You got to ask yourself, like, are you happy with where you're at? And if you're not, then it's time to take a chance. Take a chance on yourself. Take a chance on your own intellect, your own tenacity, your own ability, and your willingness to go out and try something and go for it. So let's talk about the real estate industry. There's all these different models coming out. And whether it's on Facebook or talking to people on the phone, like there's new brokerage models coming out. And I've talked about those before. There's new models with commissions. There's new ways to buy homes with the iBuyer. Is the industry overly critical of those new initiatives? Are they overly critical because they're trying to sustain their dominance as the incumbent business plan, business model, or brand? Or are they critical because it's warranted? I mean, everywhere we look, there's disruption. And technology starts off and they say, you know what? I don't like the Blockbuster setup. I hate going to a place and not being able to get that movie. But I can get it through Netflix. Or instead of buying CDs, which was crazy, I remember like taking CDs back to the store and reselling them for $6, and then I could buy one for $5. And like that was the old model, but now I can just get on Spotify or Pandora and go and access this music wherever I want. Like the new way of real estate, is the industry open to it? Or is the industry that person that's sitting in that job and that is saying, I wish I could do that, but I will never actually take and put my foot out the door and take the first step that's necessary in order to drive that change? Are they those people? Or are they the people that are actually the ones going out and trying? The people that are going out and actually saying, you know what, I'm going to make it better. I see an opportunity, I see a need, and I'm going to take that swing so I don't have regret 2 years later or 3 years later. So I've been applying this to myself in my own career. It's obviously hard to leave something that you love doing for 9 years. But ask yourself, like, are you applying this concept to your own psyche? Are you fearful of taking risk due to it being new or because of the criticism that you're going to get? And you think about the Bezos quote, it's like, look, it's okay. Not everyone is open to the criticism. Not everyone is open to being misunderstood. But if you're going to actually do it, just understand that's part of what you're getting yourself into. And every great company, every great leader started at that point where they basically accepted the doubt. They accepted the fear. They accepted the critics. And they said, you know what? I believe in myself. At the end of the day, that's the most important person to believe in is yourself, because you're the one that's actually getting up every day, going to work, and making the decisions to do the work that you need to do in order to be successful. Spend some time talking with people in your own life about this. Find out what your purpose is. It's okay to be different. It's okay to go against the grain. It's okay to not being fearful, or even just being fearful of this kind of uncertainty and this what if. The reality is in 2 years, if you stay doing what you're doing, it's fairly easy to predict where you're going to be. And the reality is you're probably going to be somewhat complacent or just kicking it. And that doesn't seem like living. I challenge everyone to think about like you and what you want to do. Take a risk. It's okay. You can always go get another job. You can always go back to the brokerage or to a different brokerage. There's always plenty of things to do. There's lots of jobs out there. And if you believe in yourself and you have an asset and you are that asset, then there's zero reason to not at some point, multiple times, take the risk and bet on yourself. Thank you for listening. It was a little bit heavy, but yeah, have a great week.